draw you closer to him. Before you start writing up any plans, before you start devising any schemes, before you start talking about a new this, new that, you ought to desire to be closer to him. Finally, the third reason, and I'm going to sit down, the third reason that God works miracles in our lives is to give you a witnessing tool. And you notice here that Lazarus didn't have to get up from the table and take 30 minutes to speak. Lazarus didn't have to talk about the science behind how he got up out the grave. Lazarus didn't have to talk about no Hebrew nor no Greek, but the fact that he was sitting there. And some of y'all got to be okay with just sitting there in your new you, with your sanctified self, with your anointed self, with your Holy Ghost filled self. And the things that you used to do, you don't do no more. And before you ever open up your mouth, you just being there is a witnessing tool. God did that, so you ain't got to know all the science behind it, but you just got to go and be there. Be there at the family reunion. Be there in your sports locker room. Be there on your school campus next semester. You just got to be there.
So the title of the message, Ryan, is I Got Something to Say. And Lazarus has something to say. No, you stay right here. I want you to know, because you're a miracle standing next to me, and it feels good to be in the right company, because I'm a miracle standing next to you. And when God gets miracles together, he's able to draw men that previously would not have been saved. I want you to know that your miracle is sitting right next to you, and it's a testimony about what God can do. I want you to look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, I got something to say. Some of y'all not talking. Say, I got something to say. If I had 10,000 tongues, I don't have enough time to tell you all that God has done for me. Your turn.
Wish I can preach it the way that I feel it today. I wish I had the time to tell the whole story about how he raised me up out the bed, about how he defied all the diagnosis, about how he defied all background, about how he leapt over my doubt, although I should have been dead, sleeping in my grave. God allowed me to see yet another day, yet another year. He gave me another chance. So yes, I've got something to say. I want to tell you about Jesus, the author and finisher of my faith. I want to tell you about Jesus, the one that raised me up. I want to tell you about Jesus, the one who gave me life when I was so used to death. I made my bed in death, but he told me to get up. I made my bed in addiction, but he raised me on up. I raised my bed in fear, but he told me to get up. God, he told me to get up. And so I got something to say. Who wants to give their life to the King of Kings? Who's going to give their life to the Lord of Lords? Who's going to give their life?
But you ain't said nothing, because I have the same testimony. I was sick in a bedroom as well. I was there for a month and a half. They said, we don't know what to do with him. But God came in. I thought it was over for me, Ryan. But the Holy Ghost came in the room, got me up out my sick bed. And when the Lord said, who will go for me? I said, I will go. So I got something to say. I dare you to grab your neighbor by the hand and say, I got something to say. Come on and tell him he's been good, one. He brought me up out of a horrible pit. Grab your neighbor by the hand and say, I got something to say. He's the author and finisher of my faith. He's the lover of my soul. He's the lily of my valley. He's a bright and morning star. I got something to say. And when the devil thought he had me, when the devil thought he had me, I got away. And I got away with a praise. praise. I got away with glory. I got away with a shout. I got away with a word. I got away with a ministry. I got away with a prayer life. I got away with a glory. Yes! Come on, somebody shout, yeah! So who you gonna tell it to? 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 Who you gonna tell it to?